All right, all right. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Multi-Passionate Edge. This is our weekly live stream where we come to inspire, to motivate, and to educate you with all things personal branding and how to brand yourself as a multi-passionate woman. So I am the host, Cheryl Pollins, and if this your first time, please let me know in the comments that you're a first time watcher. If it is not your first time, then welcome back. I would love for you to share this out to your network so we can have a nice little conversation about how to woo your ideal client using your personal brand. But as always, before we jump in, I'm going to share the answer to the question that I get all the time. And if you're a first time watcher, you're going to love this. And of course, if you are a regular a viewer, then you know exactly what I'm about to talk about. And what is that? What's that question I always get? Let me know in the comments. Was what lipstick are you wearing? And so I thought it would be fun just to include that because lipstick is a very big part of who I am. Red lipstick in particular is a very large part of who I am. It's what I love. And I have all kinds from all price ranges. And today I'm wearing a little blend. I'm wearing a blend of two brands, and they're both a lip gloss, which I don't wear a lot of lip gloss. I am a matte type of girl, sometimes satin, but definitely prefer matte. And so today I am wearing, this is the MAC Vampify. It's Vampify, and the color is, what is the color? Suggestive. Perfect, right, for wooing your ideal client. Yeah, the color is suggestive and it is amplified by MAC. And on the bottom, I put this on first because it has a little bit of a sparkle in it. And it is by one of my favorite people, Sparkle Girl, Sparkle Girl, Sparkle Girl, the Lip Shine collection by Sharetta Golade. This is her brand, and this color, it says number 89. So, but this is her. Let me get it right. This is her lip gloss. It is called Sparkle Girl, the Lip Shine collection by Sharetta Golade. So that's what I'm wearing today. Wearing them combined together, and this is what we're getting, this lip shine and this blood red lip shine. So last week I was not here with you. I was celebrating my birthday. It went from one day to the next day to the next day. And I had a great time celebrating my 60th birthday in a very different way than most people would expect. Most people would expect a big 60th milestone birthday party. And I really wanted to just chill. When you do the work that I do and you spend a lot of time around people, then sometimes you just want to chill, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to chill, but no fret. I have something amazing that's coming up. I have a couple things amazing coming up that I'm choosing to use as those opportunities to celebrate. One is the official launch of my business, even though my business is like 10 years old. Hello, Rona. Hello, Rana. How are you? So even though, I've been around for 10 years and I've never officially launched my business or anything like that. So I'm excited about doing an official launch. I'm also excited about doing a destination type of event. So we have some things that we're going to celebrate. And hey, my birthday was a time for me to just really reflect on what I want the next 20 years of my life to look like, in particular as it relates to my life and to my business. All right, so let's jump in today's content. So I want to share with you. We have been doing this series, this Unlock the Icon Within series, and I want to keep that series going. We have this week and our next week where we talk about unlocking your inner icon using your personal brand and the ways you can do that. And then we're going to jump into some other really juicy stuff because I really want to talk about. I talk a lot about personal branding, but I really want to talk about a lot about the mindset behind personal branding. And I think that there's going to be tremendous value there because many of us struggle with something called what? It's the dirty I word, imposter syndrome. And I really want to get into that because that really it's, it's a lot. So I'm not going to get into it right now, but we're going to talk. Let me back up a little bit. Here's why I want our next series to be about imposter syndrome and the mindset of personal branding and all of those things. The mindset you need to you say you want to be a millionaire, but it really starts in your mind first. I really, really, really want to talk about that because so many of us are sabotaging ourselves. So many of us are saying one thing but acting another way, and it is not serving you. And the other day, I was watching this video about imposter syndrome, and I'm sitting there like, you guys are speaking my language, and I want to have that conversation with you because I know that it can be very powerful. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the mindset of cultivating a luxury personal brand. But of course, I have something I'm going to call it, but I'll let you know what that is. So, and these strategies that I'm sharing with you about unlocking the icon within, using your personal brand, about wooing your ideal client, about your messaging, about all those things, all those strategies are not going to be effective if you haven't dealt with what's going on here. You can't even get to some of the things that I'm talking about because you still have stuff going up in here that's telling you that all the things you're doing nobody's interested in, you're not qualified for. So we're gonna have an amazing time with that. I'm gonna help you unlock for real. But again, today we're talking about how to woo your ideal client using your personal brand. So I got three strategies that you can use to do this. And the first one is consistent and authentic messaging. Consistent and authentic messaging. So remember the messaging piece. I started with that. I think that was the first two lives we did. One was about your authentic story, learning how to tell your authentic story, and the other was about the art of value proposition, and that all goes into your messaging. Some of this verbiage might be new to you as it relates to building, cultivating your brand. Most people are familiar with visual branding. That's what most people are familiar with. That's what most people are looking for and asking for. But I'm here to tell you that you have a whole personal brand that is tied directly to who you are, that is about being authentic to who you are, that's about telling your story, that's about knowing how to communicate and articulate your value proposition, knowing how to talk about your core values, knowing how to create authentic connection. We're talking about all the unseen things that serve and that support the visual brand. When my clients work with me, we don't even get to visual branding. If you work with me for in one of my longer term opportunities, we don't even get to visual for like 4 months because the visual, the colors that people want to talk about, the logo, all of those things mean nothing if your message is not clear, if your message isn't clearly targeted for the people that you want to communicate to, you want to serve. It's really, really important that you have this strategy, this foundation that's laid, and part of that is your messaging. And that messaging is what you use to help woo, right? Attract, whatever word you want to use, your ideal clients, your ideal audience, people that are going to come in ready to invest in themselves, ready to invest in you, ready to pay for what you have that's going to help them solve a problem, meet a need, or experience or live out a desire. Okay? Because it's not just about the pain, it's also about the pleasure, right? So we talk a lot about pain point, pain point, pain point. Okay, I don't really need to be reminded of my pain point because I really know what kind of pain I'm in. Show me how to live or how to go from pain to pleasure. All right. So wooing your ideal client, we said the first thing is what? Consistent and authentic messaging that resonates. That resonates. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you know I love luxury. I love high end. I love Chanel. I love Louis Vuitton. I love Rolls Royce. I love those brands. And here's why I love all of those brands for one reason. Those brands are, they are the best as far as I'm concerned. They know their ideal clients better than anybody. You have to, if you're selling a $8,000, $10,000 Chanel purse, and you've been selling this one purse for the last, I don't know how many years, last 50 years or more, probably much longer than that. I know much longer than that. And the value, the perceived value of that one item has increased over and over and over and over and over. Now it's a premium, and it's not easy to buy. It really is exclusive. These brands understand their audience in an intimate way. And it's not a pain. They're not addressing a pain. They're not addressing a need. They're addressing a desire. They figured out, luxury brands in particular have figured out how to address a desire. So when I look at when I look at messaging, authentic, consistent messaging, the luxury brands are the brands that I go to because they're consistent. Most of those brands have been around for decades, right? They're authentic. They've honed their messaging, right? Some of them don't even advertise. When was the last time you saw a Rolls Royce advertisement? When was the time you ever saw a Rolls Royce advertisement? Because they don't have to. Because their mark, they know exactly where their buyers are. So, consistent and authentic messaging that resonates, that makes people feel connected to who you are and what you're talking about. All right, so the second thing that you want to have to woo your ideal client is you want to show up as a leader. You want to show up as a leader. You want to show up as a leader in your space. You want to show up as an industry leader. You want to show up as an industry icon. You want to show up because here's the deal. Here is the deal. So many of us think that it's about being an expert. It's about knowing all the things. The truth is, it's about showing up, then sharing your knowledge and your expertise. People have to know you exist. People have to know they don't know you exist if they're not seeing you. And I'm not talking about every now and then. Now, here's the deal. You can choose to show up online or offline. You can choose to show up on both. The fact of the matter is, and all of that is driven by your business goals, what you're looking to accomplish, your financial goals. Those are the things that drive your activity. Many of us are out here being busy and doing all this stuff, not attached to any goals. It's not attached to any outcomes, and you're frustrating yourself, right? You're not being strategic about showing up. Showing up and then sharing your knowledge and your expertise, that's part of your strategy. Visibility is a part of your personal brand strategy. And if you are not working on a personal brand strategy, if you're not, don't have a strategy for your visibility, you're just kind of willy-nilly here and there when you feel like it, that whole when I feel like it deal is going to keep you, it's going to keep you, I'm not going to say it's going to keep you broke, but it's definitely going to keep you well below what you can accomplish, what you can make happen financially. It's going to. You've got to show up. Here's the thing. There are multiple ways of doing that. If you've been following me any length of time, you've heard me talk about all the different ways you can show up, and you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. That's a choice. I could come on here every week if I really wanted to, never be on camera for the most part, do a presentation, have some slides, talk about what I'm talking about, maybe come on at the end and say, okay, thanks, bye. Who did that? Russell Simmons used to do that. Def Comedy Jam. Anybody watch Def Comedy Jam? Let me know in the comments. I used to watch Def Comedy Jam. You didn't even see Russell Simmons. He was the creator of the show. You didn't see him until the end. And he said the same thing every week. He'd come out on stage. He'd say, thank you for coming. Good night and God bless. Right? I'm just using that as an example of the fact that you don't have to be on camera. I like being on camera. I mean, it's just me personally. I like being on camera. You don't have to be on camera. You can have a podcast, strictly audio, as long as you're consistently putting out the content and you're being very intentional about positioning yourself as a leader in your industry by sharing the content that you have. If you want to be on video, you could do YouTube. If you want to create a lot of engagement, you do YouTube, and you could do live stream. You literally could do those at the same time, right? So for this, I'm live streaming in 3 places. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube. So you have to do something about that visibility. You have to show up. People will never know who you are if you don't show up. Now, I always like to use my girl Oprah as an example. Okay. She was not shy. One thing she was not shy about was showing up. She showed up on your television every week for 5 days a week, every week for 25 years. For 20 years, she showed up on the cover of her own magazine every month, except like 2 times, maybe 1 time, right? Then she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna create an Oprah and Friends podcast on satellite radio that I'm not even gonna host. I'm gonna have my best friend host." The point was she was showing up. People were seeing her all the time. I call her the queen of personal branding. She built an entire media empire just by being visible. She didn't even start off by sharing her own message. She built a platform that invited people to share their stories. She created a platform for other people to come and share their story. I remember reading something. She said, I didn't even know what a personal brand was when I started. But she figured it out, and she learned how to leverage it, and she positioned herself as the queen of media. She positioned herself as the person that everybody, they wanted to be on the Oprah Winfrey show. They wanted to sit in the chair. They wanted to be interviewed by her. What was the goal? I want to be on Oprah. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people. I know some people don't like her, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about somebody that learned and understood the power of their personal brand and learned how to leverage it. And that's what I do. That's what I live for. If you've ever seen a Little Mermaid, that's where that's from. I live for helping multi-passionate women learn how to cultivate a luxury personal brand that allows them to create wealth and build a legacy. Create wealth and build legacy. All right, so first one is what? Consistent and authentic messaging that resonates. The second one, the second way that you woo your ideal clients is by showing up, and showing up in a powerful way. Showing up in a with confidence about who you are and what your purpose is and what you bring to the world. Okay. And the last one is the last way you can woo your ideal client is engage with them. Engage with them. Why do you think people do live events? It's an opportunity for connection and engagement. Why do you think people go live? It's an opportunity for connection and engagement. Why do you think people create experiences? It's an opportunity for connection engagement. And you can nurture that. So let's say you're doing something live and in person, all right? Let's say you're going to have an event. Well, prior to the event, you're going to nurture, right? You're going to share not only about the event, but you're going to nurture that relationship. You're not just going to jump up like a lot of us do. You're not going to jump up and be like, okay, hey, I'm having an event and you need to be there. First of all, you haven't told me why I need to be there. You haven't even inspired me to sign up to come, right? And that's where that nurturing happens. You can do that through email. You can do it through social media. You know, a lot of us are using social media like wrong. And then we get mad because we're like, social media is social media is dead. No, social media is what you make it out to be in your world. And if you're intentional about how you're using social media, then your experience with social media is not going to be so traumatizing, so triggering. I don't use social media to get my news. Hello, somebody. I don't use social media to be involved in, all the others, all the drama that people can find themselves in, right? Going back and forth and all that. I don't even entertain that. I don't entertain it on my profile page, right? I don't use social media for those things. I use social media to meet new people, to create connection. I'm not on a quest to get new clients from social media. I want to create community using social media. And from that community, now we could talk about the client aspect, because we know it's a nurturing process. I was having a conversation with someone this morning, and we were brainstorming some things for her, and pay pricing and all of those different things. We were talking about um, the customer journey. And she was telling me that she had read a study, and the study was that for this particular company, the average customer journey was 43 days from the time they opt in to a lead magnet until they signed up for a high ticket offer. 43 days. That's 43 days of nurturing, of showing up, answering questions, being there as a resource to help them make a decision. You can use social media for that. Answer questions, provide content that's helping people make a decision about whether or not they want to be a part of your community and whether or not they want to spend money with you. That's what you can use social media for. You can literally woo your ideal clients that way. But here's the tricky part. You have to know your ideal client. You have to know who they are. You have to know what motivates them, what inspires them, what they want, what they need. You have to know all of that. Hello, beautiful Carmen. Hello, Julie. You have to know what they want. If you're not clear about their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, their desires, here's the funny thing about this. It's not funny, actually, but I find it very interesting that most of us aren't even clear about those things ourselves. So we don't even know that we should know and be clear about those things as it relates to our ideal clients. How do I know this? Because I have a workbook that asks women all these questions about their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, and their desires, and they tell me that it's hard because they don't know the answer. So if you don't know the answer for yourself, I would bet on the fact that you don't know the answer as it relates to your ideal client. You haven't done that work. You haven't done that research. You haven't become intentional about even understanding who your ideal client is and what they need. So how are you going to woo them if you don't even know what motivates them, inspires them, what gets them going, what lights them up? I discovered what lights my people up. My ideal client is lit up by travel. My people love travel. I know that. So I know a desire they have is to be able to travel the world. Now, I my responsibility in that is to come along and show them how to leverage their personal brand, right? How to cultivate a personal brand that helps them to get to that goal, to that goal. To create a personal brand that does what? Builds wealth, creates wealth. Let's just leave it at the creates wealth. So you create wealth. Now you're positioning yourself to be able to what? Travel the world as you desire. But not just travel the world and still do what you love. But I know that travel is a desire. I can start right there. Before I get into all the things that they need, I can start with desire. And use this and say, okay, you say you want to see the world, you want to travel the world. How are you going to do it? How are you going to make it happen? How are you going to go from where you are right now? Let's say you're working a 9 to 5 job, right? Let's say you're working a 9 to 5 job. How are you going to travel the world working a 9 to 5 job? Unless you got weeks of vacation that you can take and you're doing that once a year for the most part. Yeah, I know. Anything's doable. I did corporates for more than 20 years. I get it. But still, how about doing it the way you want to do it? So the question now again, it becomes, okay, how are you going to do it? My role responsibility is to come show you how to make the money, to make you freedom, to make you financially independent so you could go do that. And I show you how to use your personal, build a personal brand, cultivate a personal brand that positions you for the right pricing for your products, your service, or offers that's going to allow you to generate the income that you want to reach that goal. Julie says travel goals. I love this. She says travel goals. 100 plus countries, 30 so far. I'm telling you, y'all my people. Y'all are my people. Cheryl says 100, 100, 100. Yes, I know. I get it. So you have this desire over here, but how are you going to get there? How are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? So as you are cultivating your personal brand, right? You are becoming strategic about how are you going to reach your personal goals. How can you use your personal brand to reach your personal goals? How can you leverage all the multiple passions you have, right? To bring them all together into this personal brand, into this message, into this thing that people want to be a part of. I just gave you 3 ways to do it. Consistent and authentic messaging, showing up as a leader in your industry with content, right? And then making sure that you're engaging, you're creating opportunities for engagement be it online or offline. That's what I have for you today, gorgeous. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you could take something away from this and that you can implement. I'm going to invite you to join us in the Iconic Woman Club. I'm going to invite you there, but I also I want to get you inside the community so I can send you things that I'm kind of working on that I believe would be of great value to you in terms of laying the foundation of unlocking the icon within. So let's see. I like to go through the comments. I did all the content, so I like to go through the comments. Let's see, Cheryl. We talked to Cheryl. Cheryl. Oh, Cheryl said you look beautiful. Thank you. Yes, she says, how am I going to do it? Great stuff. And I think I saw something. Yes, let's connect the dots. And that's how you connect the dots, right? That's how I connect the dots. Having a methodical way of getting you from where you are now to that goal. And I love using the travel goal because it's very, very popular in my community. It's something that people want to do. It's how they want to live their lives. And they want to be able to do it and still do what they love. Okay. And then figuring out a strategy of how do you do both? How are you able to see the world yet still do what you love and serve the people that you've been called to serve? And then Cheryl says, I want to travel frequently to many places. Absolutely 100%. So here, I'm going to give you a little bonus. So when you talk about all the different places you want to travel to, you want to see the world, that's a very big, broad goal. So you have to figure out a plan for one place, just one place that's on your list that you want to travel to. Figure out the place, get your dates, then work on your plan. Create a plan and then work the plan. Because as long as you're staying in all of this, all of I want to see the world, right? As long as you're staying here, it's going to be a little challenging for you to bring that vision in and go, you know what? Let me get into implementation. Up here is, stratosphere, it's vision, right? The vision has to come down to you got to narrow it in and go, okay, where do I want to go? Where's my first place on my dream list? Right? Then you figure out what it is. Now you got to do one of two things. You got to do research or you have somebody do research. So you get a travel advisor and you go to them and you tell them what you want. Create the vision for it. What experience do you want to have when you are planning like this whole what do you from the time you walk out your door until the time you walk back in your door at home, what experience do you want to have? Last week I had lunch for my birthday with one of my clients who is a she's a luxury travel advisor, and we had to revamp a trip, a destination experience that I had planned, um, and I had to deal with some imposter syndrome around it. Yes. Um, but we talked about it, and I'm like, this is the experience that I want women to have. I don't want them, it's a trip to Paris, and it's like, I don't want them to go to Paris to sit in a conference room. We're not doing that. I know a lot of people do that. You go to Paris and you spend no, we're not doing that. It's immersive, it's experiential, you know, uh, it's planning something that is going to be memorable. Okay. So that was a little tip for you in terms of, um, you and your desire for travel. So that was a little extra bonus. If you want to know more about the trip that I am going to unveil soon, then you can go to iwanticonicwomanclub.com and I'll be sharing the information first. I love this. Cheryl says Nassau. She says Nassau, Bahamas. Love it. I've been there. Next year, Italy and Seychelles. I'm always like crazy about how I say it. I think it's Seychelles. I think. So those are excellent places. Actually, we have Paris for 2024. We have a few other places for the following years, and I'm looking forward to helping women fulfill that desire and live that dream, while also showing them how to cultivate a luxury personal brand in the process. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining live or if you're watching the replay, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place. And we're going to close out this series next week. We're going to talk about how to amplify your message. And it's going to pretty much cover some of the things that I've probably already mentioned, but I'm going to show you ways that you can amplify. And one of those things we're going to talk about specifically is podcasting. Podcasting. So also I'm doing the podcast Powerhouse Challenge or Powerhouse Podcast Challenge, but it's going to be an introduction to how you can amplify your message through podcasting, and I can't wait to share that. Awesome. Let's see. Maybe I can speak and motivate women there too. You can speak and motivate women anywhere you go. Anywhere you go, there is opportunity. You just have to be open to it. Julie Gibson says, thank you. You are welcome. Thank you for watching, for joining me today. And I will see you again next time.